We are here with Angela Kinsey, star of Haters Back Off, who played Bethany on Haters Back Off on the Netflix show, mother to Miranda Sings, and of course, can't not mention The Office. But this is kind of a Haters Back Off chat here. So what I really just kind of want to get into, I want to find out from you how the role came about and, you know, the audition. Was it anything like that Annie episode audition that you guys had on the show?
Oh my God. I love, by the way, Steve Little and I, in that whole, like, while we were watching people audition for the Annie roles, we were laughing so hard. I actually when I watched it, I caught myself break because he and I just kept riffing and we were dying laughing. There were so many takes they couldn't use because they just let us comment on these poor people who would come in and do their shtick, and then him and I got to just go. Anyway, that was such a fun scene. My audition for Haters Back Off was a little bit different in the fact that Colleen actually got up and read with me, which is awesome. A lot of times when you go in, even later in the stages, sometimes you don't get the lead person behind the show to get to read with you until like the very end, you know? And Colleen is so generous and you could just tell she was so excited and passionate about this project, about, you know, finally getting to make the show and all the years that she's been doing this character. You felt that excitement in the room, and it made me want to do great for her. You know, not that I wouldn't normally, but her just pure enthusiasm and her willingness to just get up there and improvise with me and read the scenes with me. It was really, really special. And it made me want to be part of the project.
Did she do it as Miranda or as Colleen?
Well, I met her as Colleen, you know, and then, yeah, she went right into Miranda. And that's like, it's such a cool thing to see happen in her face. And I really respect it because you really see the shift. And Jenna Fisher used to always say that I did that when I became Angela Martin. Like, we'd be between scenes, like talking like, oh my God, I got the greatest whatever pajamas at Target. And they'd be like rolling, settling, and action. I'd be like, yeah. You know, and then I would just become dead inside. So when I got to see that same moment with Colleen, I was like, oh, you're doing it. That's cool.
Now, speaking of your character from The Office, I loved Angela, the character. So I want to know, what do you think she would say about Bethany, or what would her opinion be of Bethany from Haters Back Off?
Oh, well, she would appreciate her plainness. You know, she's not doing too much with her hair or her makeup like some floozy. She would probably want her to tidy up her house a bit. Her house is a bit disgraceful. Angela Martin would very much judge that. She would probably wonder why she doesn't have a cat. She fits so much of the cat lady criteria. But mostly I think Angela Martin would judge her, because that's what Angela Martin does. She would judge her home and her outfits. And that's, yeah.
I want to transition back to Bethany. Poor Bethany, the Catwoman extraordinaire without a cat. And I mean, when we as the audience, excuse me, first meet her, we kind of understand that, you know, she could be Miranda's mother. I mean, she, like you said, she's very quiet, very timid. She's got this, you know, ongoing joke of the undiagnosed fibromyalgia. Awesome. Yeah, but then we get to episode 2, and she goes on the dating to try to find, you know, a man, and we just see her continue to evolve. And then episode 6, things get really serious with the diagnosed kidney failure. And episode 8, that finale, which you were just incredible in, that scene that you got with Colleen, you know, Miranda is just, I mean, when you first signed on, did you know that this sort of depth from this character, that all of these characters on the show would be so well fleshed out rather than it just being about Miranda, since she's, you know?
I when I read the pilot, I realized that this was a whole world for Colleen. You know, a real world with real people that were good people and that are all kind of messed up. but they're there for each other. And that was one of my biggest draws to the project, is sort of playing people that are, as the show goes, and even in the pilot, you see how flawed they are. And that's like one of my favorite things. And that's why in one moment you're laughing, another moment you're cringing because life is awkward. And then the next moment you're gutted by a situation, you know? And I loved that. I didn't anticipate where it would go at the end. You know, I didn't get to read the scripts till later. I saw the promise of this complex woman in the pilot, which I really liked. Her life is depressing, and she sort of has lost herself to her children. And I think she doesn't really know who she is anymore. And she knows she loves them. And part of her has given up, just given up. And then this small part of her still has hope. And she wants to find a partner, and she wants to be pretty, and she wants people to see her. And all of that is kind of going on at the same time in this household with her idiot, you know, brother and her daughters who sort of don't appreciate her, and it made it very compelling to me to play.
I loved episode 8 also. I just want to know, have they told you yet what is in store for Bethany for season 2?
No, nothing. And so I'm so eager. I really don't. I don't know anything. And I have so many questions, you know, because that final scene is just, it's like a woman who is done. She is done. I loved it. I loved doing that scene. Colleen was so strong in it. And I felt like that moment where you have a really good sparring partner. And I was like, oh, this is going to be, we're going to go for it. And I'm going to trust her because she's got me, and I'm going to go hard. And so is she. And I was really happy with it. And as an actor, it was so awesome to play because the character is not a one-note character. She's very complex. And I know I said that earlier, but it makes it so rich to play.
Now, speaking, you know, as an actor, would you, I guess, I know you've done improv in the past, and that's kind of, you know, where you started, and then you went to The Office, and there was no laugh track. So I imagine that transition was pretty hard to not get that instant audience reaction. But then you go to a show where you don't see an audience reaction episode by episode. You see all of the episodes drop at once.
Yeah.
And so, you know, you go in kind of blind to it. Was that a crazy kind of transition for you, being part of this binge world now?
Yeah, it was. You know, I think with The Office, we would crack each other up. Does that sound so ridiculous? But we would. And so we were like, I don't know if this is going to be funny to anyone else, but we're cracking each other up. And we had that on Haters Back Off too. You know, we were sort of in this little bubble, in this little world. And I mean, especially me and Steve and Colleen, like we were the worst. Like whenever we had a dinner table scene and they would let us improvise, and Steve and I would just riff and Colleen would get in there, we were crying. We were laughing so hard. And so there was part of us that were like, well, hopefully other people will think it's funny because we are cracking up. And usually what's a real pleasure to do like that is a pleasure to then enjoy, you know? It's like if you're having a good time, it's like people pick up on that, I feel like, as an audience. But yeah, there's, other than a camera guy laughing, and by the way, when you make a camera guy laugh, or the boom operator, you're like, yes, because most of the time the crew is just like, you know, they've seen it all, they're over it. So when we made them laugh, it felt really good. But I had no idea how it was going to be perceived. And when we went to the premiere, we saw the first 2 episodes, and it was weird and quirky and funny and awkward, and it was sort of everything I could hope for. But it was then weird to go home and binge it. And other shows, I'm a mom, I'm a working mom, so I now, like, I love to like stack them together and get, you know, to watch 3 episodes of something all at once. And it was really wild to see the whole world play out, because I hadn't been very used to sort of traditional television as far as myself, like The Office, and even the other shows I've done since, where every week it kind of builds. But I love it. I don't know about you guys, but I really love being able to sit down and watch like 3 in a row. Like I love it.
I watched.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I watched 4 in a row the night before, and then I woke up and watched the next 4 because I was like, I mean, when I first watched it, I will admit, and Amanda and I had kind of been talking about this earlier. It took me a while I didn't know anything about Miranda Sings,
Right.
And Colleen's transformation, and it took me a while to get adjusted to the character.
Yeah.
But I think what kept me there was that, your character, Bethany, and everybody else, the supporting cast is so strong, and there's so much depth and heart to the show that I kind of stuck with it the whole way. And then by 6, 7, 8, I was like, this is a really great show. Like they did something really special here. I don't know, Amanda, how much you agree with that?
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, to take a character from YouTube and to put it on television, to put it on Netflix, and you have to be thrilled that a lot of the positive reviews from the critics have been directed towards you. Were you aware of that?
I caught
singing your praises.
Really cool. Yeah, that felt great. I've for many years just sort of been a supporting character. Part of the group, and I was so happy to be part of the group. And but a lot of times when you're part of the supporting cast, you're sort of the deep background. You fill out the picture, but you're not really the main focus, especially when it comes to critics. I had 1 or 2 seasons in The Office where someone mentioned me, but it felt really nice to do the hard work and for people to notice. So thank you for saying that. But yeah, I agree. I didn't know anything about Miranda. I had no idea, had never heard of her. I'm a dinosaur. By the way, Steve Little and I were such dinosaurs on the set. These are such young people. Like, I've never done whatever we're doing right now, this Google Hangout thing. You saw me. I was like, but so it was interesting to sort of learn her YouTube presence. And I did. I had a moment of like, how does that then translate into a show? And then I read the pilot, and that's what really got it for me, is that she is a smart writer, and she built a complex world, and her character is tough. But the whole time I was there, I kept feeling like I was part of something unique. And I felt like that when I did The Office. And since The Office, I've worked on a lot of things, but a lot of times they feel, and listen, I'm happy for the work, guys, but sometimes they feel a little formulaic, right? And The Office felt so different to me. I was on this show, it felt like I was part of something very different and unique. And that was exciting for me. I knew some people would love it, and some people would be like, I don't get it. But just the fact that I was a part of something that different was fun and exciting. So. Did I freeze? Am I frozen?
No, Amanda, do you have any other Office questions you want to get in there? I know you had.
Sure. I just want to know if somebody go ahead.
Amanda, I was going to say to you, it is not missed on me that it looks like you're in a conference room about to do a talking head on The Office.
Oh.
We always sat by a plain wall and like a window with blinds. So I
just haven't had a chance to hang up my art yet.
You kind of look like you're about to give a talking head in the conference room of The Office. Just saying.
That's going to be my tweet later today. Okay.
Yeah, that's your attention to detail.
Not planned, but I'm loving it. I was so thrilled that Dwight and Angela, the character, ended up together. But do you have anyone you would like to see from The Office if they were available for an episode, come guest in your crazy world?
Well, I mean, the first answer would be everyone, because I just want to work with all of those people again, because they're just like my favorite people. Did my computer just do something? Sorry. Something just went, okay. No, I would want everyone there. Really, I would. People who I could see in the world. Creed. Come on. Creed is like one of my regulars at the grocery store. He probably tries to steal like the old bread or something. And I can, I don't know if it's just my love for Dwight, but I so could see Dwight in this world. I mean, Dwight could probably have been Patrick's father. Do you know what I mean? There's like with the sword play and the magician and all of that. But maybe Dwight and Creed, that would work for me in this world.
That would make a lot of people happy to see Rainn Wilson and you two together.
Can you imagine if like just Dwight just walked to the grocery store and like yelled something at me?
Isn't Rainn Wilson from the Northwest? And the show is in Tacoma, right? So it kind of makes sense.
Thank you. I'm actually going to see Rainn and Creed and Kate Flannery this week because Creed is doing a show. You know, he's a musician, right? And he's doing a charity benefit on Wednesday night. And I'm going to be there. And so is Rainn and Kate Flannery. I think Jane Lynch is going to come with her. And then I'm going to see Ed on Sunday. And I talk to Jenna every day. Today, Oscar called me up. He's hilarious on the phone. You guys, I never know where he is. I'm always like, Oscar, I said to him, I go, where are you? What is that noise? I'm at the market. He's just like my favorite, like, old dude.
I feel like if The Office ever wanted to do a reunion, you would have to be the one to schedule it. It's like, I mean, you're in contact with everybody, it seems like. You could just have them all on this Google Hangout. We could just do one huge reunion show.
Pretty much, Jenna and I. The PPC coming back.
Oh, get everyone my goodness. Was that one of your favorite episodes when Angela was party planning? Or do you have
well, those are some of my favorite. I loved the Christmas episodes because my character just took it all so seriously, you know, and she would lose her mind. And I loved it when she truly hated someone because that was so fun to play. Like how much she hated Kelly Kapoor. I mean, she hated Kelly Kapoor. And how she judged Pam. Poor Pam. Pam was like the one person that would try to befriend her. And she would just be like, really, Pam? You know? One of my favorite scenes I ever did, though, is when I popped up over the partition and I asked Pam if Roy had ever frozen one of her pets because Dwight had frozen Mercy killed my cat.
Love that whole storyline.
Yeah. And Jenna and I were laughing. We started breaking and laughing so hard. We couldn't get it together. And it was the scene right before lunch. And we couldn't stop laughing that the director called cut and said, I'm gonna give you guys a break. Like we were so embarrassed. We're like, we're so sorry, but the scene was so ridiculous. You know, I think I said something like the peas were kind of, I think she was clawing at the peas. And anyway, it was, and when I asked Jenna if Roy had ever done that, you know, as Pam, and she goes, no, like, no, of course not. Anyway, it just, we had to take a break to regain our composure. But the party planning scenes too, like being mean to Phyllis, who's the most lovely person, was one of my favorite things. Like when I ran out to her and I'm like, Phyllis, these are forks. And these are spoons. And she had a line where she was like, it's hard for me to listen when you talk to me with that tone. Phyllis like kept breaking on the word tone. And then we just, that anytime I got to be mean to Phyllis was just so much fun. Because she's so lovely. It's so crazy.
Such a weird transition now, huh? From like going from that to Bethany, where you're the one that's getting all of the punches at you.
Exactly. I'm the one that's like beaten down. I am sort of a Phyllis, you know, who's just kind of trying and hoping someone will see her. And then just to have, you know, Miranda just come at me. And also I loved how Steve Little would come at me too. Like we actually would crack up every time he'd go, Bethany! Like just the way he would yell, Bethany, would just crack us up. Like, of course, Bethany, the nice one, is the one that completely pisses him off, like more than anyone. She's the saboteur.
The one in reality.
That's because you tattled on him for the poop toilet in the backyard.
His homemade toilet that he made out of like a garbage disposal. He'd been pooping into a garbage disposal in the garage. Oh my God. So gross. But yes, Bethany has her vengeful side too.
Well, on the Office, it seems like you guys were able to keep your composure long enough to win 2 Screen Actors Guild Ensemble Awards. You yourself are an Emmy winner for The Office, The Accountant, daytime Emmy winner on what they called broadband comedy back then, which is now just online, what you're doing now.
I know.
You're in a broadband comedy, I guess.
I know.
And of course, in 2007, you won the Gold Derby Ensemble Award for The Office. You go back to that first Screen Actors Guild Award. Was it a shock to you? Do you remember the reaction at the table when you guys first got up there? And I mean, to win from your peers, I imagine it was just incredible itself.
It was. It really was. I mean, the whole evening, you're just in a room of people within your profession that you so admire, and to be recognized by them was huge. And it's you're sort of out of body because you're walking up and you just see all these people that it's just sort of a mind melt moment. And we worked so hard, and our show on The Office, it took us a little bit to get momentum, and the fans are really what kept us on the air, because we were very close to getting canceled. And it's like they believed in us, and we really always did feel like an ensemble. And that started with Steve Carell, because Steve is such a team player. He was so quick if he had a line that wasn't working, he would say, well, how about, Dwight, like Rain says it, or it wasn't like all mine. It was a group project. Like, this show's going to work because we're going to do it together as a team. And so to get recognized in that way, that there was no small character, that it filled out the whole world, and that everyone was important, and it meant so much. We were so excited, like so excited.
Now, I loved you in the final season of The Office, because those last few episodes really focused around the Angela Dwight dynamic. And I personally thought you deserved an Emmy nomination. So if you are nominated for an Emmy, you have to submit a sample episode. Do you have one in mind?
From Haters Back Off?
For Haters Back Off, yeah.
Well, gosh, I think maybe that final scene in episode 8, because I think I basically have a breakdown, and as Bethany, and I think that's probably the type of acting the Academy hasn't seen me do. They've seen me be a bitch. They've seen me be heartbroken. I was very heartbroken over Dwight. He broke my heart when he killed my cat. So, but that was real, it really wrecked her, as it would. Oh my God, if someone one of my cats in the freezer, I would lose my mind. But but I think the level to which I got to really go in Haters Back Off. So I would think that scene, maybe. I don't know if you guys have any ideas, but yeah.
Well, you like Amanda mentioned earlier, you've gotten all of these spectacular reviews for your performance in Haters Back Off. We've got the Golden Globes coming up, the Screen Actors Guild. When you were doing this, did you realize that you had something special with Bethany, the way maybe you figured with Angela, or did it all come as a complete shock? Because the LA Times called you the anchor of Haters Back Off. Like, your performance is, especially like I mentioned in episode 2 and episode 8, is outstanding. I mean, did you really realize that this show could be at that level, getting this buzz and awareness that it's gotten?
No, I couldn't have anticipated it. I couldn't at all. And those moments that came in the later episodes, and the one in episode 2 when I'm outside giving her the pep talk, those moments, I didn't know that I would have them in this show, and so that was really special for me to get to do, and to discover that, they were going to write such a rich show, that it's not just a one-off joke on this YouTube character. So no, I couldn't have anticipated. It's been just a joy, because we did, like you said, we did all 8 of these, and we lived in this world, and we had no idea what they were going to look like. And we got to see them when everyone else saw them. And so I was kind of reacting and processing it as you guys, everyone else had the same access when I did. And that was really cool to see, because I hoped that I had done a good job. I hope people would like the show or like my character, and all of those things that you hope for. Just like at work, you want people to recognize your hard work. So it felt, I don't know, it felt really great, I have to say, because I think a lot of times as a character actress, and that's what I am. I'm a character actress. I've never been the leading lady, you know. You sort of are in the background a little bit. And so it's nice when the character actor gets to anchor a show emotionally.
Now, just to close out, because I would get in trouble if I didn't ask this. What was your obsession with donuts on the set?
Well, okay, first of all, it's not an obsession. I like a donut. I'm not a big breakfast person, but then there's a beautiful thing called a donut, and it's just waiting for you, and it's everything you could ever want and more, and you can just kind of grab it and go. And I was very possessive of donuts on The Office. I wanted to know when are the donuts coming, and I would go find them. I had one, I think, every day. And then I tried to get better. Then I would have like half a donut, but I just went back. I cut it in half and I just went back. Or I would try to get someone to share it with me. I'd be like, I'm just going to eat half. Why don't you have the other half? But then I would, and then I got on set in Vancouver, and I mean, there would be like 4 donuts. That's it. Like in the US, there'd be like a dozen. I don't know. I don't know what the deal was. Like, why are there only 4 donuts? And then I would, try to stake out the donuts and get one. And Colleen, I guess, loves donuts too. So I would share with her. But some mornings I couldn't get to the donut thing in time, the little tray. So I would send our PA, Jonathan. I'd be like, Jonathan, go stake out the donuts. I mean, this poor guy has so many other things to do, but I'm like, give me the donut. Anyway, I probably talked too much about donuts, but I do. I love a good donut. This is very true for me.
Well, if a donut gives you that kind of performance, I say it's a well-deserved stakeout.
Thank you.
Craft services.
Yeah, we're definitely hoping that you get as many donuts as you want, and maybe some well-deserved hardware for this season of Haters. And we just want to thank you so much for joining us today on this Google Hangout that you haven't done before. So we're glad you were able to hop on with us, and wish you the best success with the show and with the awards coming up.
Thank you, guys. That's so incredibly thoughtful. I appreciate everything you said. It makes me feel awesome. And you guys are so kind. And I'm going to leave you with this. Do you see that picture behind me? Mm-hmm. Our camera guy gave me that as a gift. He took that. That is the last table read of the series The Office. Ooh. And that's all of us sitting around, and it's the last time we ever read a script together.
I was going to ask about that.
Yeah. Yeah. And it really captures a moment because we didn't know he took it. And we all have these, some of us are crying, some of us are going like this. It's a really great moment. And then he gave it to me as a gift. So that's what hangs in my office. That's office.
Awesome. Your office. Well, congratulations again, and thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks so much, you guys.